welcome to the deep dive. Today's mission is unique and I think incredibly rewarding. We are taking a microscope to a single, highly condensed piece of emotional text.
Just one.
The entire lyric sheet for the song Footing by Brenn.
That's right. And when you analyze a work this tight, I mean, where every single line holds so much weight, we aren't just summarizing.
No.
We are extracting the core emotional narrative, a story of identity, self-sacrifice, and I think most importantly, the ultimate realization of one's own fault.
Yeah.
This is your shortcut to understanding this really profound journey of regret and recovery.
Okay, so let's unpack this immediately.
Let's do it.
The narrator doesn't ease us into the post-breakup state at all.
Not at all.
They just start with the tangible evidence, the damage control.
Right, the physical signs. And those signs are telling us exactly how draining this relationship was. It clearly required so much energy, mental and emotional, that it actually left physical marks.
Like what are they saying?
Well, the narrator details, I can see my weight coming back.
Oh, wow.
And then notes that the bags beneath my eyes have faded over time.
So those lines are just straight up proof that they were literally worn down by this dynamic.
Yes, totally.
But what's truly key here, I think, is how they define what that recovery means. Is it about moving forward, or is it something else?
That's the crucial point, isn't it? They define recovery not as moving forward, but specifically as a reversal.
A reversal.
Yeah, a successful attempt at returning to the way I used to be before I knew you.
So the relationship itself is basically framed as a sickness.
A sickness,
Yeah.
a state of decline, a loss of self that they had to physically and mentally undo just to feel whole again.
So the path back to health is just erasing the impact of the partner.
Exactly.
And if the relationship was defined by that decline, it stands to reason that it demanded some profound sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. Which leads us directly to the costs of that love. And this wasn't just, minor compromise. The narrator admits to some fundamental, deep alterations they made.
To themselves.
To themselves, yes. While trying to sustain the connection, they mention adjusting the way that I spoke.
And even the clothes that I wore.
Yeah. I mean, that's altering your entire presentation to the world, your literal face and voice.
And it went deeper than just surface level. It went into these behavioral extremes.
It really did.
They talk about having slowed down on the road, which suggests a deliberate kind of subdued persona they were adopting.
To fit the partner's needs, yeah. And then we hit that really striking visual detail.
Oh, that line, I would sleep on the floor.
It's so powerful, that image. It just suggests this profound self-denial, maybe even an act of subservience within the relationship.
It's a shocking metaphor for how much they were willing to give up.
Yeah.
Literally their comfort, their rest.
All in this, ultimately futile attempt to make it work.
But despite that high cost, the appearance, the voice, the comfort, the conclusion they reach is just devastatingly self-critical. It is. The narrator admits they never changed a thing to you, for me.
It just speaks to the utter futility of it all. They spend all that energy, trying to grow for the partner.
And it didn't matter.
It didn't. The relationship ran its course. And that line, to grow for you, I guess it gets old.
You can just feel the exhaustion.
You really can. The exhaustion inherent in that dynamic. You can sacrifice your identity, but if it doesn't solve the core issues, it's all just wasted effort.
And that realization of complete failure, of futility, it has to lead somewhere darker.
It does.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because the song pivots from this passive sacrifice to active self-condemnation, a confession.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
This moment is the anchor of the whole emotional arc.
Right.
The narrator finally steps up to accept responsibility. They say, I'm afraid to tell you now that I'm the mess you walked out on.
I find that line so incredibly rare in breakup narratives.
It is.
Most songs, they position the singer as the victim. But here, the narrator is completely accepting their role as the destabilizing force.
And they even suggest the ex-partner were right all along.
For leaving.
For leaving, yeah. It is a total and profound acceptance of responsibility. But that realization, it doesn't just stop at the breakup. It actually makes them retroactively hate their own output.
What do you mean?
They express this deep revulsion for everything, and they specifically mention all the songs that I wrote and every word that I'd say.
So they feel their whole creative existence during that time was, tainted by the dynamic.
Precisely. And that self-loathing, it culminates in this really painful admission that this regret is just what I get for pushing all the blame back onto you, off of me.
Oh. So that one line just clarifies the entire emotional landscape.
A whole thing.
They spent time after the breakup trying to shift blame, but now they've finally reached the difficult truth.
The truth.
So they've gained physical health, they've regained their identity, they have clarity about their own fault, but the trauma still lingers.
It does. They admit they won't outrun your pull on me.
The past still has this gravitational force.
That's such vital context because even though they're intellectually clear that they were the mess, the emotional attachment, and the trauma that puck, it remains really strong.
They're stuck.
Stuck in this state of self-awareness and lingering connection.
But then the narrative shifts again. It moves from that self-pity towards something really generous.
Yeah, selfless hope for the ex-partner.
The narrator dedicates a significant part of the song to just genuinely wishing the ex well. The prayer is so simple and heartfelt. I pray to God, you're doing well.
And this act of wishing well, it's so complicated by the earlier confession of fault, you know?
Right.
It shows a real sense of maturity. Even having accepted responsibility for the failure, their concern for the other person is genuine. But what makes this prayer so much more potent is the specific detail that follows.
Yes. The narrator gets incredibly specific.
Yeah.
They draw our attention to a very serious, deeply personal struggle the ex-partner was facing.
And it's a gut punch.
It is. They're praying that the ex has finally stopped starving yourself.
And that just changes the context of the entire dynamic, doesn't it?
Completely. This isn't just about emotional conflict or personality clash anymore.
No, this is about a serious health-related issue, something that was either caused by the relationship or, made much worse by the breakup. It adds enormous weight.
It turns the whole thing from just a conflict into a situation of, like, survival and well-being.
Absolutely.
And the central metaphor of the entire song is tied directly to this hope for their specific physical and mental stability.
Right. The narrator wishes that the ex will find your footing right where you belong.
Footing.
That one word, footing, it just encapsulates everything. Stability, health, a sense of belonging that was clearly lost. It's the highest possible wish from someone who just admitted they were the reason for the instability in the first place.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the emotional journey is, well, it's complete, but it's so painful.
It is.
The narrator is physically healed, they've reclaimed their old self, they've accepted fault. And yet, that final section highlights that they are fundamentally stuck.
Stuck, living my days, regretting every word I'd say.
It's an image of stasis, isn't it?
Total stasis. They've achieved the insight, but not the peace. They're still defined by the regret for the words they spoke and the damage they caused.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This song is, I think, a masterclass in mature, devastating self-accountability.
It really is.
It tells the story as a narrator who accepts complete responsibility for a failed dynamic, even while wishing for the total health and stability, the footing of the person they hurt.
And they acknowledge their role as the mess. They conclude that the ex's life might be better off without them, and they just remain painfully honest about their ongoing regret.
Yeah.
The narrator spends the entire song successfully returning to their true self, shedding that physical and emotional decline they went through. Yet they end up defined by that last line.
Stuck living my days regretting.
Exactly. So if accepting that you are the mess is the necessary first step toward finding your own footing and returning to your true identity, what difficult, crucial step has to follow? What does it take to move beyond the regret itself and finally claim that regained self-worth without the shadow of the past defining every single day?
Something for you to mull over as you reflect on this emotional arc.